So lights, camera, action. So on this week's show,
Hey.
we have an old friend of mine from back in the early 80s who released tracks such as Mega Blast, Born Free, Drop the Weapon, and loads of other incredible tracks from back then. We got the one and the only Merlin. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Steve, man? You know, I've been looking forward to this one for a minute, so yeah, glad to be here, bro.
Listen, it's been a long time in the coming.
Yeah, that's real.
So yeah, I'm really excited to talk to you, talk about the old history as well as, you know, what you might be up to nowadays. So yeah, be brilliant.
For sure, for sure.
And Merlin, one thing I always do is obviously before we get the interview started, I want to give a massive shout out to all the doctors and the nurses and the key workers out there battling this virus on this lockdown thing, because they're the heroes, you know. So we've got to give them a big clap. Yeah.
And then some. On a real, you know, they're nothing short of remarkable, heroic. And I hope they get everything they deserve and then some after the crisis. When we get all through this, I hope that they're remembered in the same respect that they are now, you know?
Well, listen, we won't forget, you know, we won't forget what they've gone through to, you know, to keep us safe.
That's real.
So, yeah, Merlin, first two questions I always ask, as you know, is like, whereabouts are you from and what was it like growing up as a youngster?
All right, well, originally South London, so I'm a South Londoner, all right? But I've been a bit of a gypsy in my time, might I add. So, brought up in South West London, Stockwell, Brixton, Ferndale Road, Lansdowne Green Estate. However, when my mum about 8 or 9, she decided that she wanted a new life for me and my brother, because we were starting to get into mix up, and the area wasn't the best of neighborhoods, you know, for young people to be growing up. So she moved us up to a neighborhood called Thamesmead. Yeah.
Ah.
Right. You remember them ends, right?
Of course.
That's where we kind of end up where I met you.
That's our ends, isn't it?
Right. So for those who don't know Thamesmead was like a new, massive estate built just outside of Southeast London, like outside of like Plumstead, Abbeywood. Like there was some marshes and that. And they just built this massive estate and they moved enough people from inner city London, what I got to understand later on, a lot of problematic families out onto this estate. And they housed us all on there. All right, fair enough. So we're out in Thamesmead, 8, 9. The place, bro, it was full of enough racist people. And I'm in there with my big mouth and my family's there and we're just trying to settle in. So I ended up going to school, cut a long story short, in Woolwich, which was a little bit closer to London, about 20 minutes on the bus. And it caused a bit of friction because I lived in Thamesmead, but I went to school in Woolwich. So I started making friends with people from Woolwich, Plumstead and all of that. And we ended up grouping together in solidarity of purpose, I would call it. And we formed what they call a gang, Woolwich Mafia. So I'm part of this, ended up being really massive, like 100 and odd of us. So I'm part of this firm from Woolwich. Thamesmead can't stand Woolwich, and every night I've got to come back to Thamesmead to live on the island. So as you can imagine, Steve, I'll let you jump in there and colour it in a bit for me. It was a very tricky time then moving from Brixton up into Southeast London, even though I was going back down to Southwest, just adapting was kind of difficult in them times.
Well, Merlin, back in them years, you know, London was a very, very different place. You know, I mean, it's totally changed now from what it was in the 60s and the 70s and the early 80s.
Yeah, that's right, bro. I suppose at the best of it, it shows you how music can mend bridges.
Well, yeah, and to be honest, I think, you know, the mending of the bridges was when the house music kind of started to develop, because that's when, you know, everybody kind of, you know, united.
Yes, bro. In fact, give me a little bit more about what you remember about the house scene, and I'll give you a bit more of what I remember, because I remember for me, it was liberational, the smiley face. Don't forget, I was with Bomb the Bass then.
Well, listen, I was going to say, let's go back a bit further, obviously back to because I know you from, it was probably around 82, 83. I went to school, I went to Eaglesfield, and you went to Woolwich Poly, which was just around the corner. So, you know, for me, Eaglesfield was a major part of my, you know, kind of development of hip hop, because we had that room Hawk House, and that's where you know the early battles took place to like electro, and we was like doing basic body popping, and which would have been kind of like early '82, like in the Planet Rock era.
Right. Well, as I said, everybody remember I came down into Woolwich. Now Woolwich wasn't really what a cool place at that time, but when hip hop and house began, we certainly started to put ourselves on the map. Let me tell you something about Woolwich. We had some of the best dancers from that era, and we went on to have some of the best music rappers and singers, and a lot of people, graffiti artists. A lot of them hailed from this little modest part of Southeast London. I used to go into London. People ask you where you come from as a rapper. Oh, from Woolwich or from thingy. I'd often claim Brixton or Stockwell because I was a little bit, I wasn't really shining on my end so much. But I tell you what, looking back, that area, the little shaping myself as a rapper on the back of the night buses, rapping, going around all these different places with the crews, me and Blade, beatboxing, going down to the jams, all of us, 2-3 night buses packed of us going down, taking London Posse, Demon Boys and the Mandem, and we'd go down and take them in, and you know what, it was all love. Me and Overlord X didn't get on, but we never got into no mix-up, we never fought. It was mostly love then. Every now and again there was a mix-up, but the solidarity, the unity was there. We were packing at our own jams, mate.
I remember them, going on the bus with you and Blade, when Blade's beatboxing, you're MCing, and everybody is literally just, the bus is going off.
Yes, bro. Yeah. And you know what? As I said, you forge yourself in that, because the thing is, you're in a really tight environment. When you're rapping in, if you're not good, you're going to get deaded. And everybody's listening to your every word. So you really got to be on your point to try and do this and entertain people, because our friends were really cruel as well. If you didn't cut it, they'd let you know. Didn't matter who it was. But can you remember, Steve, at that time, you could have a proper old knees up on the back of a night bus. You could smoke, you had our little drink, and we could go round and round, go West End and back and thingy, right, without problems. I can't remember all these things could actually happen on a bus. But
it was absolutely incredible, and also like the house parties. I remember the parties like on Barnfield Estate, and all them kind of like house parties were absolutely amazing.
Oh, bro, and that's the thing. I was listening to big up Bionic, London Posse, Rodney P. You done know all the man them, yeah. Blade, love, all of the man them, all of the UK rap scene and the article pioneers, love. But anyway, I was listening to Bionic, your thing with Bionic, and he was saying he used to listen Papa San, and my Uncle Smiley culture. So I was heavily up on the reggae scene and the dancehall scene. But like, I didn't have a particularly good Jamaican accent, right? But this is why I big up Bionic, Demon Boys and all them. I was good at American mimicking. I could mimic their accent well. I had a strong voice, a tone, good tone, lyrics, But at the end of the day, I was a clone. They were so strong. The power of rap was just born then. Everything was kind of American. And this is why I just got to take a moment to pause for the real pioneers then. The man like the Demon Boys, the Rodney P's, the London Posses, them man there that spoke and stuck to the native lingo from day one. Do you know how hard that was in that day when everybody else was talking American? For you to pop your English slang and make it work. Them boys was rocking. Yeah, not no poor relations of hip hop. They were popping it off. When we PA together, respect. I prefer to go on before they came on. Love.
Yeah, big shout out to all of them.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, Merlin, who was kind of influencing you in the early years of MCing? I mean, you were talking about the Americans. Was you getting some, who was influencing you?
Oh, man. I came in and, Def Jam them had a massive influence. That whole label, LL Cool J, Run DMC. I remember hearing some tunes like, oh yeah, Public Enemy. Massive influence.
I mean, Chuck D. I mean, you. In actual fact, you kind of reminded me a little bit like Chuck D. You're kind of.
I modelled myself on that boy. I did, or should I say that man? that MC for me, sorry to jump in there, Steve, was and is top notch. Not just for the style and the flow, but what he was talking about. You wrap the Trinity into one, you got one hammer of energy in there. And that's what you get from Public Enemy. I remember hearing Rebel Without a Pause. My goodness, Steve, the goosebumps and just hearing when it dropped, I was like, my, what the hell is this? And Peter Piper from Run DMC, when that bass dropped the first time, with that break beat in the background, you guys would know what it is. Yo, man, for a rapper, just coming in, that energy, don't forget, this music was fresh. No one had heard it before. It was like, whoa. And we lived it real time, Steve, real time.
We did live it, and
house.
you know,
Go on, man.
Going back to like the Woolwich days. I mean, we had crews like the Sly Faders, so you'd have like Laurie, DJ Bones, DJ Crips, Dunster, and you know we was all part of that the Sly Faders crew.
Well, this is right. This is right. Martin, Sly Faders crew. I grew under them. I started off really under Urban Baggy Bags, Urban Revenge. So DJ Master Mix and Dazzle, they were from South London, New Cross, Deptford, Lewisham, that side. They won bed, they were just deadly. But then Sly Faders and them lot, again, another set that really studied the science of that thing to the teeth. If we were artists, if we were rappers, we were DJs, we'd study it. So a little heads up for the young rappers out there. You know, when I was 15, 16, I had like 2, 3 black bags full of lyrics. I mean, pads and all. You know, you got to study your craft, man.
Yeah, you have to study, and you got to learn off, you know, off the elders.
Yeah. And we're learning from you too. I love what the youngers are doing now. Style has advanced tremendously. I'd say just don't narrow the subject matter in scope. There's much more scope to what you lot are doing than, yeah, I got money, I got girls, I've been shot in, and I know how to kill people. You know, there's other things. Make some songs that make people feel good after listening to them. Empowerment songs. Not just that. I get that side of your life. I understand the narrative. But don't be trapped in the narrative.
And Merlin, going back to the early hip hop years, was you repping any other elements of hip hop? Did you dabble in graph or b-boying?
You know what? I wanted to pop. I wanted to body pop. I wasn't very good. See, I'm the kind of a guy, if I get into something, I'm not arrogant, but I'm competitive. If you beat me fair and square, I will honor you and say, well done, respect. But I'm going to try and come first. I knew I weren't coming first as a break dancer. I saw people like Breakaway, Martin Robinson, all the men from our ends of Woolwich at that time.
Barbarian and before that, Warp Force.
Yes, all of that lot. They were crazy. I couldn't do them amazing things with my body. However, my voice broke from about 13 and I had one voice. I read books like a monk from about 7 to 10. This little van used to come on our estate when I lived in Stockwell, a little, just for deprived estates, and they'd let us order books. And I remember you know, like PlayStation's kids today? I read books like that. Like every week I'd read about 3 books, a book, Ruth Manning, a book of goblins, a book of princes, a book of sorcerers. But it built up my vocabulary. So by the time hip hop started coming in, and then my uncle Smiley Culture was already made inroads. He'd already taken Cockney, fused it with reggae and charted, had his own TV show. I was just working away in my bedroom.
So you was quite advanced, quite ahead of the time in a way.
Well, that's what some people say. Thank you, bro. I definitely knew we were trying. I was trying my best. I was in the matter of good company. We had brilliant lyricists around, my counterparts, Cookie Crew, Moni Love, you know, Duke, like we're just full of quality. I've mentioned the rest of them before, you know, Hijack, how could I? And don't forget that time we both got, big up Comanche, I've got to be, anyway, you don't know, right? We got signed to WEA, don't forget, I'm the first British one who lived there, solo rapper, to be signed internationally. Sire came over, but at the same time, they signed Hijack as a crew. And we were both managed by George Keener Holzer. Ice-T was on our label. We went over, I went shopping over in LA with Ice-T. And we was all over there doing our thing. So yeah, Hijack and the boys, we had a movement.
where Caveman
Um,
and Overlord X. I mean, there's so
yes,
many.
yeah, Caveman, yeah, yeah, yeah. Overlord, X, Cash Crew, loads more as well. But anyway, there's a host of talent. And just again, I was with Rhythm King at the time. So Rhythm King was having loads of hits. So I got signed to Rhythm King through winning a rap competition that the Cookie Crews judged in South London. And within about 2-3 months, I was fast tracked onto Rhythm King. Rhythm King had Bomb the Bass, S Express, the Beatmasters. Betty Boo came later. She was with She Rockers, but she kind of went pop and done her own thing and done very well. And a number of other artists. Anyway, there was in and out the charts. For an independent label was unheard of. By the time I was 17, I'd had about 8 #1s with Bomb the Bass and other collaborations, Who's in the House, and all of that. You know, I went away to prison for a little bit. They put me inside for 6 months at Feltham and another open prison. They let me out to do Top of the Pops. My uncle, my late uncle, Smiley Culture, picked me up, took me out to do that. And may I just interject in there and also add that I now teach music at Feltham, music technology, and I empower the young people down there. I work with some of the worst, not worst, well, some of the worst offenders. There's no way to rephrase it. And I give them the support and the frameworks of support that they need.
And you give them kind of like a positive kind of outlook.
Always, bro. And some of them, it's hard for them. Some of them are getting weighed off with 18, 21, 16. And some of this is just for attempted, not even the thing. The courts, the policies changed over the last year or two. And the policy is such that they're coming down heavy on any kind of gang-related stuff. And of course, you know, I've done 2014 to 2017. After the death of my uncle Smiley Culture, I went away and I studied law. I done an LLB law at South Bank University. I got first class honours in that. So I understand a little bit about how law works. And that's why I really ended up wanting to go back and share the little that I have, the experiences, the knowledge I have with these. Because I was in there, but for the grace of God, I could still be in there. So why can't I help these? So yeah, man.
Yeah. No, you're doing a good and positive thing, and hopefully, you know, they're turning their lives around. You know.
Yeah.
And Merlin, how did you hook up with Blade?
Love Blade. All right, I started rapping, and Blade, I don't know, I met him somewhere around Woolwich. He came from around Blackheath. He wouldn't mind me saying so. He was a bit of a loner at that time. He didn't really move with nobody. And I was rapping, first I started rapping with my brother, and we came second or third in the UK rap championships at the WAG Club. Cookie Crew won at that time. And then I started rapping with a guy called Kenny D. And when I started rapping with Kenny D, Blade used to do a beatbox. And he was an amazing beatbox. But then he started rapping and everything changed. He just became brilliant. His quality was second to none. He taught me so much. And then I got my break with WEA, and somehow we fell apart. It wasn't a thing where, oh, well, I hope it wasn't perceived as, oh, Merlin got his deal and disappeared. I don't know. We just seemed to fall apart. We're doing different things.
And also, it was harder, Merlin, it was harder back then because there was no mobile phone or internet or anything.
Right. When you lose someone, you can really lose someone. But that happened to a lot of my people in hip hop. You know, people like Urban Revenge, Reggae. A lot of people are lost that I would have wanted to show more affection, appreciation as to what they've done for me. A&Rs, people who helped along the way that I could never mention. I think what happened to Merlin, but they made me everything I am today, you know, so love.
Oh yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. And have you got any old like demo tapes or sort of unreleased unreleased music from back then?
Oh man, I've got new stuff. I feel good. I feel, apart from obviously you get your grades, you get your bits and pieces, but I feel fresh. I've gone through a lot in the last 10 years. We won't go there.
Nah.
But a lot. And as my granny said, what don't kill you make you stronger. So where I'm at right now, I'm back in love with music. I think working down at Feltham with these young guys, understanding the nature of drill, some of their urban, the way they have taken hip hop and advanced it. Some of it is toxic, it's been regurgitated, and some of it is brilliant. they've nurtured it. So I'm looking at that tree and seeing how I can help that grow, cut off the bits that don't need to be there, that's going to affect the root, and just grow this body of hip hop, of these young men in adverse circumstances, and women for that matter. Just really try and empower my community and give a bit back, bro.
And would you, Merlin, would you also like to pick up the microphone again and get back on the mic?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I already am between me and you and now the world, I guess. I'm working on some stuff, as I said, I'm very proud. Obviously, I'm coming real. Ain't gonna be no American stuff. I can sketch. I do a lot of ghostwriting. So I will write, and then you probably never know. But when I come back, I'm going in with the youth. I'm going in. But it will be, the subject matter will be more expansive. Hopefully I can impart a little bit more knowledge, but it ain't gonna be preachy. It's gonna be a narrative, and hopefully most of all hard hitting. Yeah, I'm gonna get back on it. I wanna link up with the man them, because I'm doing a lot of production. I've had loads of hits, over 30 hits as the producer over here in the world. So I'm thinking of doing a Dre type thing and getting all my favorite MCs, if they're still sharp, from back in the day, mingling one or two semi-mature young ones and coming together as a collective.
That'd be
one hell of an album.
Incredible, wouldn't it?
Yeah, yeah, one hell of an album. And I mean, I like, even the youngers have to say, not they're good for old boys. No. Taking off heads, bro. Excuse me, no.
And Merlin, going back to the music quickly, it's a hard, little tough question for you. Out of all the music from, back in the day, it doesn't have to be hip hop.
Yeah.
Can you give me like a selection of tracks that kind of like blew you away? I mean, obviously Rebel Without a Pause totally blew you away. Run DMC.
All right. Bit of a one there, because there's enough, but I'll let everybody know. I grew up, I love pop music. My mum always had the radio on when we was little, and I think she must have kicked us out of our bed when we started our bed. We used to always try and sneak in, so we was always around mum listening to the radio. So I have a great appreciation for pop music. I grew up around pop music, and some of it was really pretty decent when we was growing up, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Well, it's popular music, so it kind of covered a lot of different styles of music. Yeah.
But I mean, I'm going deep. I was into Madness, Specials, but that kind of Culture Club, I'd have a few of them. It went, and I like some of the rhythms. I still to now will blast them out. I liked, going on to a little bit more nearer, well, not even nearer, I liked Chaka Khan, the one that was in Breakdance, where Turbo done that broomstick theme. That record makes me feel. What else can I think of?
And about the reggae, the reggae years, like John Holt and...
Oh man, I grew up on reggae, Smiley, my whole family. So I know all the kind of the older revival stuff. And then also we grew up in the reggae, like when we had all the great Buju Bantams and Sizzlers and the Super Cats and they came later. We came, Steve, didn't we have it good?
We had it really good. I mean, I used to go and see Saxon play back in the day in the parks in like the late 70s, early 80s, and Jar Shaka. It was incredible.
Right. And for anybody that don't know about sound systems, like the reggae sound systems back days were serious. My uncle was one of them. He had loads, Peter Levi, Asher Senator. Here you got Maxi Priest was on Saxon as well, Tipper Irie. You had loads of them, all right?
Too many to know.
These guys could rap all night. I mean, they could pick up a mic. They don't never repeat the same lyrics. They'd have dub plates. Sometimes these dub plates will play for half an hour, 40 minutes. And they could rap without putting the mic down, lyrics for all that time, sometimes hours. I've got tapes, and they will break down how a car is made by component. And it's just amazing, man. When you're taking these kind of lyrics and then you want to get into the lyrics business, you really then know that you have to do your homework, unless you're arrogant.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible times back then, wasn't it?
Yeah, mate. Love
and
it.
Merlin, can you give me some of your kind of like your biggest highlights?
When you say highlights, what do you mean? Moments of my life that I remember?
Like moments that have kind of like stood out, and it's like been something quite special.
Right. I think getting signed to Rhythm King, winning that thing, getting signed first 15, that was big. Getting signed to WEA, Sire Records, that was big. Obviously, the birth of my children, those events, you know, you can't leave them out. I think doing my law degree was a big event, and obviously deaths, when you lose, I lost my son, I lost my sister, I lost Smiley. Those are obviously big events, but they catalyze one. I mean, if you've got that kind of a spirit, whether it's negative or positive, it's all energy. And it's what you do with the energy that comes from these events. And this is what I'm learning. And I also know that as long as I'm here, I'm going to continue to learn.
Well,
Merlin, so, yeah,
you know, it looks like you're in a good place, you know.
Yeah, I like to think so. By the grace of God, bro, I'm here. You know, I can look back and reflect. I haven't always been this reflective. Had times when I really, you know, glad that I had people who could reach out and say, yo, Mels, you know what? You're not right, King. And that eventually I listen, you know, and I'm out there for those people who don't have that mechanism, that framework of support. Enough of them young people out there, they ain't got that. They ain't got somebody they can call on and say, yo, you know what, I'm hurting. Can you just listen to, can you help? Can you be consistent? Can you talk to me, please? Can you care? Really care? I mean, these things seem trivial to most of us, but, you know, there's a substantial demographic of which these things are prized and sought after. So let's try and get them in, if we can.
And is there, Merlin, is there like a positive message that you can send to the younger generation?
Oh yeah, always. First and foremostly, is think positively. Your glass is always half full, not half empty. For every adversity and every challenge, right, there's a way to overcome it, right? So I know things are hard, and I know things might be against you. Trust me, bro. I've come through it. I could go into it, but I understand. Let me put it like that. But I'm here. You just got to keep fighting. Have confidence in yourself. Have confidence in others around you. But try to surround yourself with positive people. Yeah? Positive people. Once you do that, believe in yourself and try to live righteously. Everything else will fall into line. It's not rocket science. It
makes perfect sense.
Yeah, bro.
Well, Merlin, this has been kind of a little quick one, really, because I know we're kind of a bit short for time and all that. But listen,
we're going to do it again. We'll do it again.
Listen, we'll do it again when we've got a bit more time, and you know, when I'm back out in the cab, we'll do it in the cab.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
But it's been an absolute honour chatting to you. And anyone watching this, subscribe to the channel. And I've just interviewed, I've interviewed Public Enemy, DJ Cash Money, Man Parish, Rodney P. London Posse, DJ Pogo, Cutmaster Swift, Skinny Man. I mean, there's been so many.
Yeah. It's been amazing, the profile. As I said, you know, keep doing what you're doing. There's loads of different ways that this is all going to come out. And it's good to let people know. You know, you're standing on the shoulders of some, take me out of the equation. You're standing, young MCs, young London, you're standing on the shoulders of some great musicians, some great artists, some great pioneers. And I think it's imperative that you get to know a little bit about them. So I thank you for the work that you're doing, bro.
Oh, without a doubt, Merlin. And listen, it's not all about, you know, the big players. It's also about, you know, the up and coming, you know, it's about everyone really. So it's not all about, you know, the big artists.
That's right. That's why I'm at where I'm at. I mean, we're going to be starting a label and all kinds of stuff first, but it always starts in the roots, man. And that's where you've always been able to find me. You find me in the hood. You find me where people need help. You find me there. You've always, nothing ain't changing that. No matter I can switch and speak a little bit proper and all that, you know that, you know, we are London.
We are London, and each one teach one.
Yeah, that's right, bro.
Well, Merlin, listen, I hope you've enjoyed this. It's been I mean, I haven't seen you for so many years.
Yeah, it's been a minute and a half, bro, but it's good to see you, bro. Really, really good. Really good.
No, you too. And, you know, once we come out of this lockdown thing, maybe we can hook up, you know, in about 6 months' time or whatever.
Definitely. Don't you try it. 6 months, couple of years, yeah. Whatever. Yeah, hopefully sooner than later, bro.
Yeah, you know that. And I hope you've enjoyed doing this little interview as well.
Oh, definitely. That's why I want to do another one when you're ready. No problem, bro. Keep up the good work.
Definitely, Merlin. All right, listen, it's always an honour.
Yes, bless. Honour.